Loving you has always been easy because it's true. I wouldn't have believed if someone would have told me you would come along to reveal my soul. Cause I was done with love, my heart had grown cold. So cold. You had good energy, exactly what I needed. You walked in my life and placed the joy where was needed. Not a mirage, what I feel for you. Put that on God, girl, I'm loving you. Said it's easy, it's easy to love, easy to love, easy to love. Said it's easy, it's easy to love, easy to love. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Loving you has always been easy cause you're beautiful. Loving you has always been wonderful, more than you'll ever know. We got good chemistry, go together like love says. The passion and care we show one another tops all the rest. The feelings I have for you, I ain't felt in so long. What we share together, baby, the bond is so strong. It's no facade of what I feel for you. Put that on God, I got love for you. Yeah. Said it's easy to love. Easy to love. Yeah. Said it's easy, baby. It's easy to love. Easy to love. Said it's easy, baby. It's easy to love. Easy to love. Said it's easy. So easy to love. Easy to love you. Loving you has always been easy cause you're beautiful. Loving you, yeah, it's what I search my life to do. Yeah, yes, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Ooh. I miss your kiss. Oh, your kiss is one of a kind. It feels so nice. Girl, you do it right. I miss. Ooh. Oh, girl, you don't go too fast. You take your time. Just how I miss. Hey. Oh, you kiss it, then I'm drifting off your love. Keeps me floating, girl. I miss. Oh, and ooh, it feels so good. I wanna come down. Girl, I'm missing that love. Come on. Ooh, babe, I'm missing all those kisses. Baby, bring those lips to me.
Thin line between being a genius and insane. God, immortal. Yeah. Every minute I fight with lethargy, striving to be godly with an intelligence quotient that exceeds numerology. Scholar body honorary, school of prophet alum, anthropomorphized lessons so I could become the heartbeat of righteousness. The everyday fight to pump the blood of kings and breathe the breath of life. Moving up like Confederates and Yankee territories in the 17th century. But it's a thin line between divinity and iniquity. The Mason-Dixon hitting and complacent decisions. Can't escape the collision. Time be idle like Billy. Party like a rock star. Fall like that girl that used to endorse Trim Spa or Nirvana's lead vocalist. The clientele of the dream merchant like Mr. Chappelle. People think I'm sick in the mind and leave the comforts of Babylon behind and book flights on airlines to Africa. Traveling the globe, accomplishing demolishing goals like Ronaldinho. The victim of a level 12 quake. I rise through the wreckage, repairing brain damage and striving for perfection. Your mind can be your worst antagonist or a true pal, and you shall become legendary and futile. Decisions of a god in training on a daily basis. I nap purposely, trying to escape it. The thin line between the mastermind and the man of the master. Which one are you after? The thin line between being a legend and
Hey,
being the captain.
what's up?
Which one are you after?
What's up, Sadeek?
Hey, welcome to the green side of things. What's happening? What's happening?
How are you? How are you?
Hey, everybody. It's so good to see you all. Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man, Sadeek.
Hey, Cassiopeia.
And we need you all to like
Comment.
and share.
That thing.
We need you to do it right now.
Right now.
It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
Turn up on a
Turn
Tuesday.
the club going up on a Tuesday.
Yay.
So, Cassie, how was your weekend?
The weekend was good. I got a chance to have a nice celebratory birthday event with one of our a safe one, a COVID safe one at Norm's Room 43 for Herb, one of our station peers, Herb's 35th birthday party, his solar return.
35.
Ron
I
Rilla was in the
remember when I turned
building.
35 a couple years ago.
That
That's
was
cool. It's fun. Yeah, Ron was in the building.
Yeah,
That's
Ron was
cool.
in the building, but hold on, just pause for a second.
Yeah, you were in the building.
As,
Ron was in the building.
As you were gonna say,
Two
you
was
turned
in the building.
35 a couple of years
I heard
ago.
it was a lot of people in the
I was
building.
gonna
We're
say,
gonna keep going.
how is that a couple of decades?
That's what we're doing today?
Literally,
We're
that's
starting
like
on Tuesday already?
That's like literally 2 decades different from yours.
Wait, time out. No, it's not 2 decades. 15 years.
It's like it within 2 different decades, though.
Okay. All right. Hey, Tiger, what's happening? Y'all got
Tiger Lily.
Ryan, you're not saying anything, brother. Okay. You're staying out of this one. But it's Tuesday, though. That's what
It
that's
is.
how we starting out.
Bro, you are well seasoned. You got to be
Okay.
proud of that.
I am actually. And I'm getting used to I'm sitting in the seat of 50.
Come on now.
I'm sitting in the but I feel
Come
great,
on,
though.
you got
I feel
to
great.
because you're 26,000 years old in real life.
That's true. And
You look
according to my
amazing.
physical age,
You look amazing.
according to my you know how you can take those tests and tell
Yeah.
your physical age?
Yeah, how old are you?
I am literally
Mm-hmm.
32.
So you're younger than Herb, actually.
Yes.
We
Physically.
got to tell Herb that.
Physically.
We need to find out what everybody's real physical
Physically,
age
I'm
is.
32, but my goal is 22.
You're trying to get down even further. You want to
Yeah.
get even younger.
I want to dig into the I want to dig into the 20s. So
But you
I
know
am
what?
50.
Shoot,
but
well,
physically, I am 32.
I'm gonna get mine down too. I want to check, and I'm in
Let's do
animal
that.
and I'm in animal free April.
Let's do that.
So I want to
Okay.
know because I need to definitely be way younger than you in physical age. Okay.
Well, you're gonna have to come with it because I've been working on this for a while, and you just cannot assume.
You're such a bragger.
No, I'm just saying.
I've
I've
been
been working
doing
on it
this
for a while.
so long.
That's not even
I
how I
am
said it.
like, a pro. Okay, it's gonna be tough. You can do it though.
You can't do it, Cassie.
Join
you
Animal
can do
Free
anything.
April.
You can do anything.
And I
I
can
don't
do
know.
it better.
Yeah, however that goes.
I can do anything. You
do
can
it.
do better.
I like. Oh, you're excited.
I
today.
can do
It's that
anything
extra
better than
sugar
you.
in
No,
the-
I
in the
can't. Yes, you
lollipop.
can. That's a song.
I
That's
know
like
it is.
Annie.
I know.
Right?
I missed Annie.
I've never actually seen the play. I
Okay.
did see it when
I watched the black
it came out in
version.
the 80s.
I watched the black version
Oh, I never saw the black
with
version.
who was in it? Jamie Foxx, and the
Yeah,
young black girl.
Yeah, I think I might have watched a little bit of it. Like, it might have been like it looked too black corny for me. Maybe it wasn't though. Was it?
No.
Oh, okay, then I'll go back.
If
and
you
watch
can make it through Coming Through America too, then you can definitely
that's
watch the Black Andy.
retarded comedy. That is intentional slapstick foolery.
Like I said.
Star studded. You know what I'm saying? You go up for
Just
that.
let
You
your soul go.
listen. They had James Earl Jones standing up in a coffin, alive at his own funeral. You can't get no better than that.
That was actually kind of hot.
We all should do that. Maybe not.
Yeah, no.
Maybe not. Just
I'm
throw me a
good.
regular party.
Yeah, I'm good. Well, first of all, I don't plan on going nowhere, so don't
All
throw
right
me
now.
nothing. I'm good. That's a whole nother conversation.
You're gonna be like in the movies. Oh, you think you Captain America, huh?
Oh, well, whatever you want to call it.
Captain Africa.
I'll be Captain Africa. I won't be Captain
What's
America,
higher than
but
a captain?
I'll be Captain Africa.
What's higher than a captain?
Captain Kemet.
Right? What's higher than a captain?
Major.
Major melanin.
Major melanin. Major melanin. Ron, how was your weekend, brother?
It was great. It was great. I had a good weekend. Man.
Now, let me ask this. I'm gonna go to the hard question. Sunday was the first day, technically, in Animal-Free April. You are in the group. Now, I know you went to the birthday party, and I know you ate some of the food at the birthday party. So my question is, did you even start yesterday?
I started today.
Okay, you started today?
Yeah.
What did you have for breakfast?
I had the vegan power sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, but you had it with no cheese and no egg?
I think all that stuff is vegan. Like everything on it comes. Vegan.
No, it's not.
That white cheese, because it comes with some type of white cheese.
That's
yes.
probably just white egg.
Why would they make a vegan sandwich with
Because
regular cheese on it?
Did they
the
say
sandwich-
it's vegan?
No.
The sandwich is a vegan. It's a vegan sandwich. It's called the
Okay,
vegan.
hold on.
Okay,
hold
well,
on, hold
it's-
on,
well,
hold on,
you
hold
know.
on.
The
No, it's not.
Southwest Vegan Power Sandwich. That's what it's
From
called.
Dunkin' Donuts?
That's what it. Yes. Yeah, I ain't trusted it, huh?
No.
Hold on.
Let's see.
it up.
Let's look it up.
Uh-oh.
Let's look it up.
It's
I
called-
could be wrong. I would love to be wrong because then you'd have to start tomorrow.
Wait,
We wouldn't be
Look at
starting
that
tomorrow.
face. Look at that
Sadeek,
face.
I gotta talk to you about
No,
this.
no, don't talk to me. This is between me and Ron.
You can't be that going that hard, man.
No, I'm not.
It doesn't
Just
mean that
Ron.
he gotta start tomorrow.
Just
it just
Ron?
means that he's just doing
This
better.
is just me and Ron. Everybody else is fine. No, you all good, bro. You all good. But I don't think the
Listen.
sandwich
So
is
did you
vegan.
did you find it?
A plant-based change of pace. Dunkin' starts 2021 with the Southwest Veggie Power Breakfast Sandwich.
It's not vegan.
Okay, so what about the cheese?
It's not vegan.
I tried.
So if they don't actually use the word vegan, then there could be elements of dairy on it.
Okay, well I tried.
But
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man. And I'm just giving you a hard time because it's the only time I give you a hard time. You know, so it's all good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the only thing that's like vegan is the patty.
Right, exactly. That's what I was going to
Yeah, so it has on there. It's an egg white.
say. Right.
It was so that the white was the egg white.
Okay.
And the cheese was dairy
filled with
cheese.
spinach. It might not have been no cheese. He might have just thought, oh, it is. So it's an aged white cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
But let me tell you what I
But
had.
very good, though.
But let me tell you what I had Sunday
What
night.
did you have Sunday night that you didn't share any of?
I did not. I didn't share a piece of it.
But share with us.
I happily did not share
Share
any
the
of it with
Share the
Dre
remnants of the
had some.
story. Share the remnants
Oh
of the
my
story.
God.
Okay.
We ordered, we Grubhubbed Mickey's. Y'all know Mickey's Retro Grill.
They got the vegan cheeseburger.
God, my God. Listen. The one on 83rd
Right on Stony.
off of Stony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe like 82nd. I had their, I think it's the No ID
Uh-huh.
vegan burger.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Him too.
Like I had to go there. That's how it was so sloppy good. Dre was such a hater. He hates when I take food pictures. He don't like it. And Koya had my phone, and I wanted to take a picture of this sloppy good.
Oh, that's the best when it's sloppy.
Oh, it was so. Listen, Rip, right. I'm about to call you real.
See, Ron,
Look.
now you can go get a sloppy cheeseburger
Sloppy
from Mickey's on 82nd and Stony.
Jesus Christ.
And stay away from that, but get the burger.
I can't.
But
You
I like-
can't.
I like
Nothing
sloppy burgers.
gives the
Right.
same. Like I can't. Without cussing. Like y'all know when someone
gotta
says
come
Jesus
up. We
Christ,
gotta-
whether you're a Christian or
Without
not,
cussing.
when you say Jesus Christ, it's
Now you know where I am today.
it's fine.
I know.
We
Like,
all
it's all
woke.
right.
It's fine.
No.
Listen. That burger, I want to slap the out of you right now, Sadeek.
'Cause of the burger?
It was so
is so
and the
good.
burger's huge.
Shout out to Mickey's Retro Grill.
Shout out to Mickey. Shout out to Rico.
Right.
Shout out to
Rico Nance.
Man, shout out
My
to the
man.
twins, their cousins who actually owns that particular
Right, it's a
franchise of Mickey's.
franchise, right.
82nd.
Oh, 82nd and Stony. You
Just
want to
Google
get?
Mickey's.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm pretty sure it's the no ID burger, but it comes with. They use the Impossible. I think it's the Impossible.
They have a couple
burger.
different ones. They use both.
Okay,
They have
use
one
the
burger.
Beyond.
They use Beyond.
Let me
they
make
have one
sure.
burger that's impossible.
I want to know
I believe
because
last
I'm gonna
time.
tell you. I want to just kick everybody in the mouth. Listen,
Well, don't
it
kick
was
everybody in the mouth.
so
Did you find it, Ryan?
good. And it had cheese on it. It's dripping in sauce. It's dripping in sauce. I think it's the Rico sauce. Dripping in that Rico sauce. The burger is so meaty.
Isn't that cool though to have a sauce named after you?
Oh,
so you
yeah.
can be, hey baby, you have my sauce.
It's his restaurant.
I know.
You
but
got that right
have
though.
you had the Rico
I like
sauce?
that though too because they actually name a lot of they got a lot of dishes named after, like really dope people from Chicago.
There's a Sadeek burger in there.
Yeah, that you know something, huh?
So moving right along, and like we said, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek.
Hey, Cassie. Why is that one not on here? Okay. Nope, not the jerked one.
So Cassie,
Yeah.
did you hear that they canceled the Silver Room Block Party for 2021?
They did, because it was going to be crazy, I'm sure. I'm sure it was going to be crazy. What did they say?
That it was gonna be crazy, and they pretty much no. So
They don't want no fines.
What's
They don't
up,
want no-
Chrissy? What's up, Alvin? We see you guys out there. Tiger Lily.
Eric has gotten too
we
big.
see you on Facebook Live, but
He like, I ain't
yeah.
got time for no fines.
they canceled it, and it's a July festival, which is I'm kind of watching to see what
Yeah.
happens to.
The vegan. Yeah, Taste of Vegan.
Yeah. So and we might be rolling out or working to roll out something new. That's in the works. So the Black Mall's got something new, but we're working. The Taste of Vegan team is working to roll out something new.
Yeah.
So we got to take a look at that and see what's happening. Brother Mike is out there. Ah, got it. Okay.
Okay, it is. So, okay, let me tell y'all what I'm sorry. I had to tell y'all exactly what which burger I had. I had the Beyond Burger.
Okay.
Okay, you hear that, Ron? The Beyond Burger, and it's using it's Beyond Meat. It's with vegan mayo, vegan cheese, lettuce, tomato, pickles, grilled onions, grilled mushrooms.
It's good.
And it's not the Rico sauce, which is a really good sauce too, which they put on most of their stuff. But it was the Korean barbecue sauce that I got.
Oh, now you know if it's got Korean sauce on it, it's good.
Yeah, Koreans they know
It's
how to
good.
make
They
good sauce.
don't play with it. What's funny, Ryan?
Racist.
Hey, no, that's not racist. Koreans make good sauce.
That's celebratory.
right.
They the only people that make good sauce?
No,
No, but
right
they
then.
do make good. No, we didn't say only.
No,
We-
that's
I
the
just said-
difference. We got excluding.
But when you say, now when
No, that's how you took it.
Korean making sauce, you know it's
because they make good
Because
sauce.
they make good sauce. Like real talk. That's like when black people barbecue. I mean, fried chicken. It's just we fried chicken.
Yeah, other people know how to fry
Right.
chicken.
Other people know how to fry
well, too.
chicken.
But you know when they do it,
But yes,
you want some crispy ass fried chicken.
right. And I want somebody with a real old name. I don't want a new name. I want somebody back there with a real old black name frying chicken.
Jeffro,
No,
Cletus,
no.
um,
Yeah, but you get
Earl.
what I'm saying. Yeah, I want Earl. I want Earl back there. Who else? If it's a young lady, I want Maddie or Hattie. That's who I want back there frying the chicken. Now you can call it what you want.
Jumba.
And for me, that's who I want frying my tofu. I want Hattie, Maddie, Earl, Lil Nuck Nuck. That's who I want frying the chicken back there. Ron. You understand?
I want Big Ron now.
Big Ron can fry?
That's actually Lil Ron.
He
Oh, Lil Ron. He Lil Ron.
Yeah, he's Lil Ron.
Oh, he's Lil Ron. And you Ron the third?
Yeah, Yeah, I'm Ron.
Oh, you Ron. Okay. We in here with Ron.
That's so black.
Isn't that black? It's
Just
some
call
of
it
the,
Ron.
This is some of the blackest stuff ever. We in here with Ron, y'all. Boosie, what's happening? Let us know what's going on down there in the East Boogie.
Can we go back? Because he mentioned something. I see you.
Oh, you want to do it now that there's more people in the audience?
No.
What are you trying
Actually,
to
I'm
do?
not coming. I'm not trying to hit you again.
Okay.
He was talking about something before we came in, and we missed it. As I missed, because now we got a new lineup for What's in It for the Black People Media,
Right.
and so I'm not used to Is being on during this time slot. But you said something
They
happened.
come on that one.
You said they had right on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. So you said something happened after I left.
Apparently, after I left too.
When?
Or you was just
Oh, the
toasting.
party. Let's
Y'all-
not even
y'all-
go.
y'all
They
didn't
talked
come to
about
the
the
after
party.
party.
They did their whole show on the party yesterday.
Yeah, you have to watch the.
You had
go
the whole
watch
show was on the party.
it. They had an after party.
You ain't gonna give me a little bit?
He don't remember.
You ain't gonna give our people a little bit, our watchers?
I just remember drinking.
No, what they say, man.
They said somebody fought. They said it got wild. I don't even remember being there till 4
Yeah,
o'clock.
just-
What was they
we
fighting
don't-
about?
I think they left before
He don't
me.
know.
I think that happened.
He watched the show. He was
They
there.
didn't discuss that. I watched the show.
thought you
Yeah,
said
they
they did.
couldn't give details.
They couldn't
I
get
already
right
got
because it's a
details.
show.
It's Is.
Bring them on. You know where the perfect place to get the after party details? Culture Clash.
Oh,
That would go. That would be nuts. That would be bananas. Get the after show.
very true.
But we are selling. If you go to the
I'm
Greenside
definitely
website,
gonna tell them to come on.
if you
tonight.
go to the Greenside website, you can get the videos of the party for $19.99. We are selling the videos, but you got to go get it yourself.
Are
We're
we
gonna
gonna
talk
be?
about it on
When
the
are we
show.
starting? May. When are we getting people get up for May?
Oh, we're doing it this week. We have our strategy session Wednesday, and we're
Okay.
going to unveil Meatless May.
That's him reminding me too. You know we got a meeting on Wednesday.
Right, exactly. You asked me when we unveiling it. When we meet, put it in your book. Put it in your book if you make. So look, we got it.
Sure.
Right, exactly. We have a great show for you guys today. We want you to make sure that you like, comment. We want you to share the conversation. Come around the lunch table. We are bringing back every Tuesday. We have Sister Africa Porter with us,
Yes.
who was just declared like one of the most influential women in Chicago.
Come on now.
By the Chicago Defender Woman of the Year Award. She's going to be with us today. So we take our hats off to Sister Porter, and we're going to have Mr. Alden Lowry, who is the senior editor of Community and Race for WBEZ.
Wow.
And today we're going to talk
That's
a little
like
bit about...
WGN, right?
No, it's WBEZ. It's WBEZ.
Which station is that?
It's a radio station. It's like,
Okay.
you know, like 832 or 9. I don't know the call numbers.
Don't they have a relationship with like WGN though?
They may have more of a relationship with like WTTW. They're like strictly like news, hard hitting. They don't do they like investigative reporting.
I know because WGN be clowning.
Right,
anyway.
yeah. This is definitely not WGN. But we're gonna have Mr. Lowry on today, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna balance it today. We're gonna talk about the first black female mayor of St. Louis.
Wow.
She might come on the show.
I feel like that's a little past due.
She just got elected last week.
Meaning first black. Were they black males before that? At least were there black mayors?
There were black mayors.
Okay,
before this.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
but she's
okay,
the first
okay.
female black.
Okay,
mayor.
okay. I was
So
like,
it's
St.
all
Louis should
good.
have
We're
nothing
low-
but black.
But hey, anyway, yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna talk about
Anyway.
some of these shootings, but we're gonna talk about black families getting cheated out of generational wealth. Black families getting cheated out of generational wealth. You know how when people talk about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, just
Oh, that's
follow
a
the
bull,
rules.
but go ahead.
Right, we got it. But
Yeah.
we're gonna kick it off. Mr. Lowry has some excellent research about just lost wealth here in Chicago that totals billions of dollars. But there was a black family in the news that just they are just starting to get their rights back to their family's land. Their family bought in the early 1900s. Their family bought beach property in LA. And the Los Angeles city and state government took it from them. And the kids today would be millionaires if they owned that land that their parents bought, that literally the city took. So we're going to lead into the conversation with that, but we're going to talk about how that has happened in Chicago and other places. So when we talk about wealth loss, he's going to give us some numbers just so we can be aware. We want you to be aware of that. But that's what we're going to get in today. So we need you guys to share the broadcast.
Yeah.
Invite some more people around. We want to have this conversation. We want you guys to participate with us because it's just something that we need to be aware of. And we're going to talk a little bit about, just a little bit, extermination of all the brutes.
Yeah. I need to exterminate these brutes out of my house.
And
black
so...
ones.
Yeah, it was brought up.
Sounds bad. Ants. I'm talking about ants.
Maze brought it up on his show, and then Tucson brought it up on his Wiz, and then it's at the top of the, if you Google and going. I was like, oh, do I really feel like
diving deeper?
Yeah, I was like, I already got enough. I already watched Seaspiracy, Cowspiracy. Now, so I started watching Extermination of All the Brutes, and of course, you know where that has landed me.
In your head.
Dab right back into, we don't really understand who these people are. We really do not understand who these people are. Yeah, Chrissy, you got to watch it, like real talk. Yeah, if you guys are out there, Extermination of All the Brutes, you got to give it, you just got to give a little more awareness to who you're dealing with. Because when you know who you're dealing with, then you can develop real strategy. I don't think if you know who you're dealing with, it's hard to have effective strategy. Thank you.
I watch Game of Thrones. I'm clear.
Yeah.
And although I'm being silly at the same time, I'm very serious. They put what they do into their stories.
Oh, absolutely. But
it may seem as though it's all mythical and magical and not real. Oh no, it's very real.
Yeah, that's why watch Extermination of the Brutes, because they don't sidetrack you with a hip hop soundtrack or a good looking actor or actress. We get sidetracked by stuff. So yeah, you got to watch that. So we've got Africa and Brother Lowry on the day, and we're gonna dig into it. So guys, if you are out there,
what's Tucson talk about? Something we don't. I missed it. I don't know what he replying to. Let's know what you're replying to.
I don't care. No, he's out there talking about I don't know.
GOT is the truth. What's GOT?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Game of Thrones. Yes, it is.
Oh, Game
yes,
of
it
Thrones.
is too.
Game of Thrones. If you all watching it,
now
right?
I got you.
It's a real reveal, right? Inside of their culture. But I want to thank everybody. So there are people. Again, want to thank What's in It for the Black People Media, the green side. There are people inside of Animal Free April who heard about it on the show.
Nice.
And we kicked off. I was teasing Ron, but we've kicked off. We've been going for over a week, but the week was prep week.
Yes.
And then day one for everybody
was Sunday.
And things are already happening. Yes, Cassie. You don't have to raise your hand, Cassie. We're like...
You didn't ask me what I ate on Sunday, and I was at the party.
But you shared some of what you cooked on Sunday, and you shared the burger you had.
Yeah.
But what did you have?
I didn't share
anything party?
that I cooked on Sunday.
Okay. What did you have?
I at the party had rice.
Okay.
I had greens.
Okay.
And I had cabbage.
Okay. All right.
Ron like, shut up.
Because Ron looking at you with
the same thing.
Ron,
I just had a piece of fish with it.
Ron looking at you with the side eye like,
Let's do it.
Vegan goody two shoes.
Where's my apple?
Right. Exactly. No doubt. Where's my apple?
Right. All right. I want to bring you the apple.
Got to bring me an apple, you all.
I got a vegan treat for you. It's an apple.
So I just want to shout out to everybody that's Animal Free April. We really appreciate that.
Stop lying, Tucson. I did not. That was your plate.
Share the whole plate of animal. They all reporting on you now.
You can ask. Tiffany came with me. She sat there and watched what I ate. And I ain't even eat a whole lot of that.
Okay. All right.
Because I've been drinking my water.
We're going to see. You got to drink
your water. And I do have my apple in the morning.
I got it.
Yeah. You talk about I share what I ate in the morning because I put that inside of Animal Free April.
Oh, okay. I just know there's a lot of sharing going on. It's a lot. It's a lot of sharing.
As
happening.
we should.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, guys, we're going to get ready. We're going to go to break. We need you to like
Comment
and share.
that thing.
We need you to do it right now. Bring some people around the lunch table. When we come back, we're going to have Sister Africa Porter with us, who is an Emmy award-winning producer. She
Come
is
on.
also the Defenders Woman of the Year.
Come on.
Right? Top accolades. And we're going to have Brother Alden Lowry with us. He is the editor of Race and Community, senior editor for WBEZ, and we're going to dive into some of these issues. So the green side of things is Sadeek.
And Cassiopeia.
We'll see you on the other side of the break.
WIFTBPM.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
You see me, you see him, my best friend. He hold me down like ankles fighting the waves. Apply not to my crime, yeah, I do time. Till I'm with you, I be counting the days. Yeah, ooh, been through so many things, but we always get through. Yeah, ooh, it ain't always perfect, but it's worth it. This is deeper than the surface. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide and make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, it's so much, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy to love. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy to love. I never thought that I would give it to you, but now I don't think it's the time, I won't do it. I think it's cause the way you talk to me, know how to say it without making me feel little. You're gracious even when you pop off on me. When you get done, I got a little something to drop off on you. Because you earned it with the time you took to put it that way. You got me liking to get put in my place. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide and make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, it's so much, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy to love. Easy to love. You make it easy.
Yeah, easy. Welcome back to the green side of things. This your man Sadeek.
Hi, Cassiopeia.
And we have with us
I was on a date in my mind.
I got it. The senior editor for WBEZ, Mr. Alden Lowry. He is the senior editor of Race and Community. But before we do that, and I want to say this, we need you all to like,
Comment,
and share
that thing.
We need you to do it right now because there's a new lineup here at the network, and we really need we want you to share and comment because the green side of things, thanks to you all, Facebook and YouTube, we made the cut.
Hey!
Because there was some cuts, so we made the cut. Thank you, Ron, for
Give us the virtual hand.
applause and the sound effects. We made the cut. So just shout out to the programming for the station and the new lineup. If you did not know, is the Maze Jackson Show Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. To 9 a.m. The Book of Dawn Monday through Friday. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you get the Bigs on the Soil from 11 to 1. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you also have Is Wiz, all right, Intellectual Thuggery from 1 to 3 p.m. And then on the alternating day, Tuesday and Thursday, you have the green side of things from 1 to 3 p.m. On Tuesdays, from 11 to 1 is Muwakil's World. And on Thursdays from 11 to 1, it's the Toure Muhammad Show. And then from 3 to 6 p.m., now you get the rebroadcast of the Maze Jackson Show in the morning. So that is the new lineup. So we want to thank you all, and that's why we appreciate all of you who do like, comment, and share the broadcast. Brother Lowry, are you there with us?
Brother
Lowry?
we can't hear you.
You gotta make sure he off mute.
Is he off mute?
He's off mute. I never put him on.
his side.
Oh,
Okay, you gotta make sure you're off mute on your side all day.
Your equipment may be too sophisticated. You might just have to hit that button.
No, I'm just a little forgetful. I put myself on mute earlier.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
My apologies.
No,
But great to be on with you.
Yes,
Mr.
thank you, thank
Mr.
you, thank
Cassiopeia.
you. Thank you for being here with us.
So thank you, Brother Lowry. I really appreciate it. So how was your weekend, sir? How were you?
I'm doing fine. You know, this weekend I had a good weekend. I was invited to a get-together, and I had driven in my car nearly 2 hours and then realized that the get-together had been canceled.
Dang.
Oh, that's horrible.
But I continued forward and ended up connecting with a brother I hadn't talked to in a few years. So that was nice. I got some food that I hadn't had in a while, and then just kind of hung out with the family on Sunday. So it was a good 2 days.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. So, Brother Lowry, we know that you are digging into issues on behalf of your organization, just period. You've been for more than 20 years an investigative reporter in your own right and an award-winning reporter in Chicago and nationwide. So we just want to let the people know who we have with us. But I wanted to start today, and I'm missing Sister Africa's going to join us. So you all, she is in the middle of a few things, but she'll be joining us soon. Wanted to start with the young lady, Tashara, and I want to make sure I'm saying it, Tashara Jones, who is the mayor-elect of St. Louis, and she is the first female Black woman to be elected as mayor of St. Louis. So we want to give her a shout out.
Absolutely. And I believe she's a part of
I don't know. We haven't verified that yet.
illustrious
That's not in the article.
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
We're going to have to check that out. That could just be rumor. It's definitely not in the article here. So I don't know.
Just feel like I'm inside of a hate-filled room right now.
No, all the love. That's why we're bringing it up. Like, I love the fact that this sister is now the mayor-elect of St. Louis. So, Brother Lowry, tell us what you think about that, especially when we got, and this is, I won't say it's a wave, right? But you have 2 Black men who are running for mayor of New York. You have Black mayors. You've got Mayor Lumumba, I think. He's down in Mississippi in some of those districts that had not elected Black mayors. You've got a female Black mayor here in St. Louis. And, you know, we've got Atlanta, right? And so there's a lot going on, especially with Black women. So is this a trend of change, or how do you see it?
I mean, it's a trend of change to the degree that we are seeing faces in prominent positions that we haven't seen in the numbers that we've seen. Interestingly, when Lori Lightfoot was elected here in 2019, we did just a little bit of looking into it, and there had been some movement, particularly for Black women in those kinds of roles, not only as mayors of large cities, including San Francisco, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Chicago, now St. Louis, but also in state legislative roles. At the same time, we had Juliana Stratton taking over as essentially the highest elected office here in Illinois that an African American has held, man or woman. So I would say it is definitely the beginning of a trend. As to it being reflective of change, I would pause on that. I do think that it is to some degree the result of Black political power in those locales. St. Louis is a place that has, like Chicago, has long suffered from kind of particularly in political venues. But this is an instance where the strength of Black politics in St. Louis helped to catapult her to that position. And we'll see what happens from there. So yes, it is to some degree a bit of a trend that I think we're witnessing.
Is it a? So I'm gonna go with Toussaint's question first, and then I'll go with mine. So Toussaint says, should we still be excited when Black folk get elected? And he said, I'm not being facetious.
No, I think that's a real question.
Yeah, I would say we still should be excited. I think Black people being elected into positions of leadership provides a real opportunity, for all of us, quite frankly. And I would say it provides an opportunity. It is not necessarily a victory in and of itself. And the election of Black itself isn't reflective of any kind of widespread social change. And I think the election of Barack Obama as president should be our one very shining example of an election, and winning election is just that. But it is certainly an opportunity, and I think it's pretty much incumbent upon the people who are elected and the particularly the African American constituents that they are representing in ensuring that opportunity is actually becomes a reality in terms of actually producing some real change. But it is just perhaps the first step in the kind of change I think we all want to see.
Is it right? So this is sometimes when you got revolutionary minds, right? You kind of start to think, okay, is this all a setup? Is it being allowed? Or is it really because there are more Black people that are becoming engaged into the political system, understand the importance, and are really getting out there and voting and putting their dollars behind these elected officials?
You want to know my thoughts?
After. Let's hear his first.
Oh, you want to hear Alden Lowry first?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I already know yours.
Let's go with the journalistic expert.
I'm pretty sure I know where yours is going.
Go on, Mr. Lowry.
That's a good question. I think it's one that we should continuously ponder. I don't know if it is quote unquote being allowed. The one thing that I do know is that when these election victories, and again, stopping short of the victories being just the winning of an election, when they occur, there is a great deal of fanfare and people positing questions about, hey, what does this mean? Is it, perhaps, and I think there is a sentiment that these kinds of moments are moments that can perhaps appease, Black folks in terms of whether there has been, when Obama was elected, there was all this talk about we were in a post-racial society and so forth. And I don't think that was talk that was necessarily advanced prominently by Black folks, but it was something that was, discussed in the media and in other corners. So are there people orchestrating these things as part of some broader strategy in terms of social control, in terms of trying to appease the masses, so on and so forth? I wouldn't say it would surprise me, but I haven't necessarily seen very strong evidence that suggests that that is the case. But like I said, I wouldn't rule it out. But that's why I say we need to be measured in how we think about these things. In the situation we've been in for a very, very long time, there have been a number of moments in our history where we thought, okay, here is the time, from Brown versus Board of Ed, the civil rights movement, the ascension of Dr. King, in the words of Malcolm X, and the legislation that was passed nationally to grant Black folks rights, to affirmative action, to the Cosby age, to all of these other things. Felt like, hey, we're seeing movement. This is a sign that things are changing. And then you still look at the very raw numbers of inequity, the instances of like the Dante Wright shooting and others. And you say to yourself, well, really, how far have we come if these things still happen?
Right.
So I'll say this, and I think that it is obviously not a one-line conversation. I think that there are several nuances, finer points. I think that our history and our trauma is complicated, and I don't think we can unearth it in one discussion or one headline. So that being said, on the top side of it, and I'm with you, Alden, I don't see it as a victory. I might see it as an opportunity, but then I would ask the question, the opportunity for what? And then inside of the question, the opportunity for what, Cassie's question of is it being allowed, I would ask you, who's allowing it? Because I think it's a great question, but what did you mean when you say, is it being allowed?
Is there a certain amount of, government hand, the quote unquote powers
I got you. Strategically places people.
Is sister in?
It's who? Is Africa? Yeah, she's in.
Yeah. So you were saying, are there people being strategically
right?
placed?
I mean, we hear, there is a deep rumor that, of course, that Barack was placed.
So here's what I have.
And then all the presidents, actually, when it boils down to it, all come from what the theories are that there are two lines of family.
There's a shadow board behind
and all presidents come from this particular bloodline.
Got it.
So
I would say to that, in me being measured, I think this is Alden's a phrase, being measured in thought and trying to. So again, first of all, congratulations to the sister. I find that to be
absolutely
awesome. I don't think you have any way to take away from somebody needing an accomplishment like that. But I do think in the broader scope of things, based on all the stuff that we talk about, right? The education system, indoctrination, the whole 9 yards. I think by default, people who make it to those stations, right? Barack is president, mayor of these large cities. I think there's high potential that they're the Manchurian candidate.
I didn't see that movie.
Meaning that there's a program running inside of them that's instilled in American schools and the American system. And I think that you have to be, in order to move that far in the system, I think that it is extreme cognitive dissonance. Even if you're asking them, it's like the whole Barack thing. Like, dude, you the president of the United States. Come on, kick one down for us. And it didn't appear that we got one kicked down because he was so marred and inside of the system. So
the system has to be changed a different way before the president.
Well, I'm talking about the system, even the system in the mind.
Yeah,
right? So,
I'm clear on that part too.
So,
but even thinking that it's just gonna all of a sudden just change, I think is ridiculous on us.
I agree with that. So I'm saying in my comments, again, I think it's a great thing that the sister's there. I think that there is opportunity. I would ask opportunity for what? And then I would even take her statement, right? Her statement was that she said, quote, "We are done avoiding race and how it holds this region back." That's a quote from the
what does that mean?
And that exactly, what does that mean? And so I'm all with her. Like I would love to drive to St. Louis, sit and listen to her, right? It's only 5.5 hours away, right? But I'm saying that what do these things mean? And personally, maybe I'm just a little tired of I don't want to even say it's great political speak. I think that we have a litany of great orators. I think there are people out there making a difference by shedding the light on certain things. But what are the practical things? Because she doesn't just say St. Louis. She says in this region. So she's speaking,
for,
you know,
even the outer,
or even out outside of that.
So really quickly though, I think that's a really good point for you to say that, you know, I would let her go down there and drive down there and talk to her. And I think that's a really important piece to when we want things to actually change, right? We sit and we hope and we wish, right? And then we get mad. And then if Barack didn't do nothing. But what do we do to hold Barack accountable? Or how do we support or fortify him so that he could come and kick down some walls? Because you can't ask nobody individually to kick down something and he ain't got no army, no support, no nothing behind him. And I think that's anybody. People laughed people were pissed off at Kanye for sitting with Trump, but that's a part of negotiations. That's a part of making change. There are going to be leaders that don't like each other or don't necessarily have the same agendas that have to sit with each other to either A, we're going to go at war, B, we're going to negotiate this thing, or C, I'm going to have a spiritual power over you that you won't be able to withstand, or D, all of the above.
All of the above. I was getting ready to say, I think you did a great job of marching through those things, but I think that's what we have to sit calmly and dissect and take the emotion out of it. Nobody slamming the sister. It's like, okay, it's an opportunity, but an opportunity for what? And I think that we do sit at the seat of opportunity at this particular day and age. I think there are so many conversations at the forefront that could represent awesome portals of change, from reparations to identity to government change to an international conversation and exchange of resources between the continent and America and the Caribbean. I think there's so many change-filled conversations. The question is, how do we harness it, do what you're always talking about, which is put action behind it, have concrete and measurable goals, because I think people are tired of feeling like there's movement, and then there's no movement.
It's not a real Do you want to bring Africa in there? I know you want her to weigh in on this, so we're going to wait till the break.
Yeah. Let's bring her in. Let's bring her in. Absolutely. Alden, what do you think about that? I know you gave your thoughts, but I injected a whole new stream of thoughts. What do you think about that?
You mean in terms of the Manchurian Candidate?
Yeah. And I don't mean, when I say Manchurian Candidate, I think that there is a level of, because I believe this sister is also a lawyer, right? I think she spent her time, done her due diligence in school. She was on the city council prior to this. I mean, just a dope sister, right? But in all of that, I think that there is a programming that is put in us, right? That you have to access on a daily basis to even get where she's gotten. And then the question is, does that programming serve the system, which is America, right? The system that we call ourselves fighting, right? Does it do that? Or is there really an opportunity to move past that?
Yeah, I think the ability for her to move past that is far greater than it was for instance, for President Obama. The dynamics were different. The constituency was different. St. Louis is, I don't know if it's roughly half Black, but I mean, there's, when you're the mayor of St. Louis, you are the mayor primarily of a Black city, or at least, you're mayor of, half of your city essentially being a Black city. So for her to state the words that she stated, I think are very in line with what any mayor should say. And perhaps she will have the freedom or more freedom than for instance, President Obama had as a result of that. But, at the end of the day, it's still a matter of actually taking advantage of that opportunity. I think we heard very similar things from Lori Lightfoot when she was elected in Chicago. And she made some very initial moves at the start that I think were very promising. The hiring of creation of a equity office and hiring a chief equity officer for the city of Chicago, something that had never been done. A lot of talk, even in her handling of the pandemic, and trying to bring about policies and initiatives that were very clearly directed at addressing the inequity in terms of how the pandemic was affecting Black and brown folks specifically. But yet, the proof hasn't necessarily been in the pudding. And there have been a number of other steps that she's made that have been highly questionable in terms of whether she was truly living up to this preaching of equity as a mainstay of her administration. So for the new mayor in St. Louis, the talk is great, but at the end of the day, it's what you actually do. It's what you actually achieve. And so that's why I was saying it's opportunity, but that doesn't really hold anything if you don't deliver. But I do think she's got freedom that we don't typically see from Black folks who are elected to some of these kinds of positions.
So let me say this. Let's bring this dynamic sister into the conversation. You all can see her on the screen. We have Africa Porter, who has just joined us, and then get her in here. Africa, we're talking about the young Black woman who was just elected mayor of St. Louis. And we were celebrating her, and at the same time having the critical discussion that we always do. Miss Tashara Jones is the mayor-elect of St. Louis, and she is the first Black woman. Shout out to Black woman power, Black girl magic.
Come on now.
Shout out to
Diva Magic
of Delta Sigma Theta. Yeah, okay. Shout out.
I'll snap.
Absolutely.
I love it.
So we were bringing that up, and of course, in the measured conversation, not just bringing up. So salute her for that. We were talking about the opportunity for change inside of that, and so you heard some of that from Brother Lowry. We definitely want to get what you think, and then I have a question for the group. So I'm gonna let you say what's up to everybody first, Africa, and then we're gonna keep moving.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
happy terrific Tuesday. Thank you for having me. I'm loving this. Hey.
No doubt. So okay. Are we, and this is pinned inside of the sister, and the question that I would toss out to you all is, are we at the point where there has to be some type of traumatic change for it to be considered change, or dramatic change, I should say? I don't, it might be both, but do we need to see some real, what is change in 2020, right? Is it a couple ordinances? Is it, we got a couple dollars here? Like, what's change in 2020? What is your vibe? What do you think people need to see to say, aha, now we're getting somewhere? What do you think we are with that?
But can I say something? And again, thank you for having me on this terrific Tuesday. I apologize for my tardiness. It wasn't intentional. I got a call speaking to your question before I get ready to come be here about an alleged police officer right here in Chicago on 35th and King Drive who pulled a gun on an 8-year-old boy.
Come on,
so
Lord, today.
If you ask that question again, back to the sister who's the new mayor-elect of St. Louis, and which I'm extremely excited about hearing that and seeing that. I was in St. Louis right before COVID for my film. We were in the St. Louis International Film Festival there. And it was absolutely amazing. I did not know that she was actually in the room. And I think that just kind of speaks to not knowing who she was, finding out later because someone tapped me on the shoulder and said that was her. At that point, I think she was just running for the election. Seeing now that is a sister that we were sharing the same space and time with, just honored. I think a lot of times we have expectation of us because it's us. I think we should. Just like, people in other positions that don't look like us, they have expectation and they have deliverables, as they should. So I don't think it's a problem. A lot of times people were looking at President Barack Obama like, well, he's not the president for Black people. He's the president for everyone. Yes, he is the president for everyone. But how did he get to where he is? How did he get to that positioning, right? So there's some accountability that I think goes with that as well. Just like with the sister, do we want people to get in office and get their feet wet a little bit? We want them to let their hair down. We want them to be relaxed in their positioning of the position. Absolutely. We want them to come in and have the red, black, green flag like we bout it. Absolutely. So I mean, I think it's both and. I mean, I don't think it's no middle ground. I think these positions are what they are because of what's happened from years in capitalism and where we got to be today. So shame on us if today, an hour ago, you know what I mean, a police officer allegedly put a gun on an 8-year-old in Chicago on the South Side, not far from the police station. Shame on us if we have these same conversations 2 hours from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now. Shame on us if the conversation is not going to be changed, if we are not going to hold our people accountable. Nobody gets a pass. Nobody gets a pass. You in office for a reason.
So
not just a season. We got work to do.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think that the politicians need to be accountable, but again, we got to be able to hold them accountable. So I'm with you on that. Africa Toussaint actually is replying to my comment about Obama and having, being fortified behind him, and he says Obama had both branches of government and the world in admiration. I hate hands tied argument, and I'm not necessarily saying that his hands were tied, but are we politically competent as a people to be able to have the back if someone's going to put their self, like if they're going to come in like ready, RBG'd up and saying I'm kicking down the walls for all of these things, are we going to be there for him when he or her when they stick their neck all the way out there and it's going to go down? Because you can say you got both branches of the government of white people, of European-minded, both of them, these people are not set for black folks. So if he starts talking about things that are not on their agenda, now you at war. He will be, any, not even just him, any politician is going to be singly at war with a bunch of very powerful, resourced up folks out there. And are we going to be behind them? Not saying that we can't, not saying that we shouldn't. I'm saying, are we? And that's my question. I'm not going to ask anybody to go out there and start doing that type of work that isn't ready to just take the fall on their own or be ready for it, or not knowing that they can really be like they can really have some support behind them. Like, we can vote all day, but do we put our money behind these politicians?
Vote plus.
You know what I'm saying? Are we there to be in their ass after they've gotten office, or are we waiting for them to fall on the sword? Are we waiting for them to fall short, right? So that we can say, I knew the politician wasn't going to do X, Y, and Z. You ain't did nothing either. You ain't got up off your ass. Right. All you've done is watch the news and watch social media and could easily complain from your government job that's owned by some other white people. I get that's the shit that I get tired of. Get your ass up out here and work. Either quit your little good government job that's ran by some white folks and do something, or be quiet.
Wow.
Because you
know why I love that?
Well, let's do this.
Let's put me in the space of I'm sorry.
No.
She made me think of, you got a break? Okay.
I want you to say it, but I want us to be, because I want to bring this. We have to take a break. So I'm going to let you go ahead, Africa. We got to take the break, but bring the energy back with
Africa
us.
brings everything.
Everything, right. I love it. This is what happened last Tuesday. But listen, we got to go to break, Africa. So do you want to talk about it?
Man.
Africa, do you want to bring it? Do you want to bring it on the other side of the break, or do you want to finish it right now?
No, I just want to say something to what Cassie said quickly.
Go ahead.
And that fire is so hot. She made me think about Emmett Till and how a lot of people would say stuff like, well, if I was around at that time, oh man, they wouldn't have taken him out that house if I was in the house.
Now, y'all
really?
get me started.
But you in the house now. Really?
There's a bunch of kids dying just like him right now. Yes.
Really?
Right.
We got all this stuff happening right now. Go get them now. Go get our youth now. We got plethora of opportunities for you to get involved today. Since you wasn't there back then.
Right.
That's all I want to say to that.
Right.
I feel you on that.
But they ready for the shade room though, and they video cameraing though.
Uh-oh.
Keep
Come
it
on.
moving. Let's
Come
go.
on.
Let's go
right,
this break.
Listen, it's the green side of things. We need you all to like,
comment,
and share.
that thing.
We need you to do it right now. Bring some more people back around the lunch table. We've got Alden Lowry from WBEZ, Senior Editor, Community and Race. And we have the Defenders Woman of the Year, Sister Africa Porter. We'll see you on the other side.
WIFTBPN.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Everybody's talking about the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish. Place your order today for a delicious meal. The chicken and fish are fried to perfection, featuring a wide variety of catfish, perch, tilapia, whiting, and shrimp. Now it's your turn to see what everybody's talking about. It's the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, Chicago's newest spot for delicious meals. Stop by at 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop, or get contactless delivery from DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. For more info, call 773-807-9010, 773-807-9010. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish is open just in time for lunch, or take it to the house for a delicious dinner. It's Chicago's new spot for perfectly fried chicken and fish. Don't wait any longer. Try it today. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish.
Oh, baby. I mean, I know that you're here with me and everything, but since you just left a few hours ago, I've just been going crazy. And I done come to realize one thing. Oh, baby, I miss you. On calling me, and I just need a hit of your love. It's got me shaking and feeling for your touch. Baby, of you I can't get enough. It feels like I done need all you, babe. I'm addicted for you. Can't stop loving, 'cause I can't get enough of you, babe. 'Cause I'm so addicted to you. This must be love. 'Cause I can't get enough of your loving. I'm so addicted for you. Can't stop. I need you right now, baby. 'Cause I'm so addicted to you. You're always on my mind, my mind, my mind, every day. It's been too long since I had you in my arms. And I don't know if I can take it.
Welcome back. It's the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek. Yeah, we are here.
There we go.
Say it again.
Cassiopeia.
There we go. And we are here with Sister Africa Porter, and we are here with Brother Alden Lowry. These two dynamic Chicagoans, they help balance the energy, because you know me and Cassie, we have to be balanced. And we were talking about shout out to the first black female mayor of St. Louis, the Honorable Tashara Jones. Shout out from the green side of things. But we were talking a little bit about the system and getting involved. So if you had to replay it if you didn't see it. I already saw some people like, man, what happened? I'm gonna have to replay
Boosie,
it.
that's my song right there.
Because you know when Cass, you like, man, what were they talking about? But But I wanna say this because I
And
want
shout out to Ron for the music because it helped
to calm everything.
me.
Yeah, it was
Calm
a
me
certain way in
smooth,
here.
nice and smooth.
But Africa brought up a really good point about
Yes.
people who say stuff like, "Oh man, you know, if I was back then, you know, I'd have handled the whole mob."
Man.
Yeah, okay, G.
If I was a slave, wouldn't
right.
nobody ever do
So-
nothing to me.
So,
Your ass out
so
of here, man.
there is enough, to put it politely, Africa said there's enough opportunity now for you to jump right in. It didn't have to be Emmett Till.
Take
We
your pick.
literally
Yeah.
have reports of a police officer pulling a gun,
Yeah.
right, his firearm on an 8-year-old right here on King Drive in Chicago. So if you want to get involved,
He fired.
there's enough
Africa.
we don't know yet.
We don't know. Oh,
We
that's
don't know
We
yet.
don't
This
have
like
nothing.
just happened.
This just in.
It just in, right? But that's
Yeah.
the Africa News Network.
Cause she
Africa
on it.
get
Because Africa, listen,
before
let me tell
everybody get
y'all,
it.
right? Shout out to you. Shout out to Africa. Shout out to Alden. Shout out to Toussaint, to Maze,
Man.
to Ron Rilla. Everybody here that actually does the work. That gets it in and does the work. And I love, Two always has a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
So I love that. I have to be, out
no
there
doubt.
working, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the part that I see. I know I am very clear that, aldermen, politicians, everybody needs to be held accountable. But there is a wholeness that I think that we miss when we start talking about accountability that only points one way. And that's not how, what they say, when you point your finger, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Right.
Right? And when you check yourself first, what did you do today towards revolution for your people? What did you do
That's right.
to contribute to the uplift of your people? Now we got
That's right.
something. And then also now what as our ancestor King Baba Kwesi used to say is many hands make the work light.
That's real talk.
I don't want to make any of our politicians work harder. I don't want any of our leaders to necessarily work harder. I don't want myself to have to work harder. But I know if all of us are working together doing our part, right, and we drive fast and hard in that lane,
Right.
then we are guaranteed to see changes that we'll all be satisfied with as well, whatever that change may be. I'm done.
Right.
So thank you, Cassie. I appreciate that. So in Africa, so timely in terms of, it's almost a shame that it's timely. It's like I want to talk about this mishandled shooting, the way they're talking about it in the media, right? The young man, Dante Wright, was stopped at a traffic stop, and they have released, I believe today they released, or yesterday they released the cam footage.
Oh, they got that? Okay.
And the story being reported
I would say you should probably.
is that the officer, it's a female officer, thought she had her hand on her taser, but actually had her hand on her firearm. And so now we have the shooting of another unarmed black man at the hands of the police. And I've actually seen in my Facebook feed a black person, I won't say people because I don't want to exaggerate, actually say that they can see the mistake the officer made.
I want to now.
Well, hold on,
Lord.
slow down. Because again, want to have this
I have
conversation.
an Aries moon.
I see, I see, because you Aries-ing it out right now.
Aries.
Right.
Fire
everywhere, breathing it.
Fire,
So I
baby.
want to get you. I want to start with Brother Lowry. Are you familiar with this situation? Want to toss it around and let's have this conversation because I know we're just having too many of these conversations. And to Africa's point and to Cassie's point, there are opportunities for change. But I mean, damn, how many times are we gonna sit up and talk about an officer that fired on a black man or a black woman? But Brother Lowry, the officer said she didn't mean to do it. She was supposed to have her hand on her taser.
Yeah, that's the chief of the
You there?
police department there. Yeah, I'm not on mute. By my, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So the chief of the police department there, I think it's Minneapolis Police. Actually, this took place in Brooklyn Center. I think it's the name of the town. About 30,000 people, 10 miles or northwest of Minneapolis. But yeah, there was a statement that this 26-year veteran, Kim Potter, I believe is, or Kim Porter, maybe is her name, intended to reach for her taser. She shouted taser as the encounter was going on, and then fired. And this happened as the gentleman, Mr. Wright, was driving away. And then she said to, I think one or two of the officers that were on the scene with her, I think I shot him, as if she perhaps were puzzled by what happened. Again, whether it's negligence, it's intentional. The end result is a young
unacceptable
black man is dead, and all for a traffic violation or potential traffic violation. And I think the discovery during the stop was that there was a warrant out for his arrest. The warrant was from last year, from June of last year, if I'm not mistaken, 2 misdemeanor counts of possession of a firearm. And so, he wasn't wanted for murder. He wasn't, posing any serious threat to anyone's life at the moment. But far too often, and you can run down the list of Black folks who've been killed by police. And I would say the vast majority of the cases are when the circumstances, when the stakes don't warrant this level of force. And some will say, well, he shouldn't have tried to run. He shouldn't have tried to get away, so on and so forth. And I think actually the warrant was for an incident where he actually ran from police a year ago. But whatever law enforcement's rules of engagement are that call for the use of lethal force or near lethal force, there just needs to be a real kind of inventory of what those policies are, and there has to be some alternatives to handling these situations aside from firing a weapon or even firing a taser. So if he runs and he gets away, you've got the plate. You know who he is. He can be apprehended.
That's it.
Charged. It doesn't have to end this way, especially when we've got enough evidence that sometimes this is what happens. So
the machismo that's inside of the culture of policing, that's what has to be killed. And that's what we're dealing with. So what? Your ego is bruised because he got away or tried to run off. So what? Like you said, now you could get him later. If ain't nobody being harmed because of that person, cool out. You don't need to be. First of all, I know in Chicago it's illegal to chase now. I believe at least while you're in a car or a vehicle, you can't chase. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to do that. That needs to be everywhere. Number one. Number two, I also think that your firearm should be on your weaker side. I think that your taser, whatever, your baton should be on your dominant hand, and your firearm needs to be on your weaker hand, so that at least there is a little bit of time for you to think. There's just a little bit, because it takes a little bit more time to actually do things with the other side. I know in other countries, I think in Asia, and I think specifically Korea, they don't even carry guns. Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. There's no guns.
I got some thoughts. Africa, what you think?
I just want to show this. Okay, so can you all see that?
Is it the difference between the taser and the gun?
There's a difference between the taser and the gun.
Come on.
Okay.
Come
on.
The
color, the weight, the grip. Okay. Let's just deal with that, right? So we can teach a 5-year-old this. Let's go there. All right. The color, the weight, the size, the grip, the feel of it, the texture, the weight. Okay. And I like what you said, Cassie. It's like the arrogance. What you call it, the machismo. Mm-hmm. The arrogance in, I have the authority. Your life does not matter.
How dare you? Exactly. How dare you run from me? How dare you not respect my authority? That's the issue.
It's super arrogance and ego involved in it. So
God complex.
Africa, I was gonna say this, right? There's a very distinct difference between a taser and a gun, and it's not only in appearance and color, it's also in weight.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm used to
And
working with
feel.
a firearm, I know damn well that this is not my gun. Right? Because I'm training with these pieces.
Do you
know what
even
I mean?
hold it the same way?
It's almost like if you were to introduce a basketball that wasn't the right size or the right weight to an NBA player, he would be like, man, get this ball out of here. This is not what we play with on a consistent basis, because he trains with it, right? You know the weight of it, the size of it, how it feels in your hand. She's a 26-year veteran. There's no way you can tell me. Now, mistakes do happen, but you didn't know the difference between your taser and your gun. My personal jury is out on that. But I would say to this, where I want to intersect these two conversations. I did start watching Extermination of All the Brutes, right? And I don't know if you all saw it. And we're actually going to do, I think it's enough conversation to actually do a show on it. So we're going to have to bring it back and come do it. But it just talks about.
Now I got to do homework.
It talks about the colonial violence, right? And more, right? Of the European cultures across the planet. And they start out with the extermination of Native Americans on Native American soil. They talk about the African slave trade. They even go into, and it's like 4 episodes. I haven't seen the whole thing, but they even go into the Holocaust and this whole mental willingness toward violence. And my whole thought was, and I shared this with Cassie earlier, do we even know and realize who we're really dealing with? Because I think that the very things that upset us historically and presently, right? That's them. It's always been them. And I think the need for hope, looking at, maybe staring off into the clouds, because when you're in such a situation, no, seriously, and I was saying this to Cassie earlier, I think the brain shuts down at a certain level when information is too overwhelming. And I don't mean shut down like you can't handle it, they'll tell you in studies, even in your personal life, the body will induce sleep. That's why people going through traumatic times will sleep a lot, right? The body will protect itself.
Yeah.
And I think that realizing who these people, because the suits and the ties, I think, fool us. Right, I think the polished wood inside of Congress and the halls of the buildings and the majestic looks of the city hall and these places they've erected kind of reminds me of the Planet of the Apes, which is that in the hallowed halls of these institutions actually walks the people who have exterminated billions of people across the planet over several hundreds of years. And we're still wondering why they're shooting kids in the street, because it's what they do. And, so did she know it was her taser or her gun? I'm like Cassie. I mean, there's several ways to deal with this, but it's always this, I got to handle it right now. Let me shoot this. But, how many white people are getting shot as they pull away from police?
Listen, they do that all day, every day.
It is absolutely an
and
extermination
they say, I'ma
case.
shoot you.
It is absolutely an extermination case. Brother Lowry, what you think? I think it's relative to their character. But go ahead.
I think you are. I think you are absolutely on point in raising this question of who are we dealing with and what's the mindset that is behind it. I've only watched a little bit of Exterminate All the Brutes. It's powerful. It's incredibly powerful. It's deep. And I just got through 30 minutes of the first episode. There are 4 parts, like you said, so I'm eager to complete the series. But they talk about colonialism and kind of the birth of the crystallization, I would say, perhaps not necessarily the birth, but the crystallization of white superiority, ties to religion that are a part of it. And at the core of this the core of this institution essentially is this notion that the people who are beneath us, these brutes, these animals, that it is okay to exterminate them. It is okay to wipe them off the face of the earth, and that sentiment is and having not seen the rest of it, but there's foreshadowing, I believe, because the narrator kind of alludes to this being something that we live with today. And I think what we will ultimately see throughout the rest of the production are very modern examples that are living embodiments of that sentiment. And I think the killing of Black people at the hands of police in these situations is indeed a modern day example of this sentiment that we can exterminate you, that you are animals, that you are beneath us. And the thing that's really sinister about this is that, and again, I think, when we have conversations about police killings, it can very easily descend into kind of a very one-sided kind of admonition of the profession. And so that's not necessarily, I think, something that we should do. However, in this instance, let's acknowledge that police have killed people unjustly for decades. And we have so many examples that we cannot overlook the fact that there is something wrong with this relationship, communities and police, and that I believe there very clearly is a mentality when police officers go into Black communities. And I don't think it necessarily matters that much if those officers are Black or if they're white. I certainly think that it's more pronounced when we talk about white officers. When you look at Chicago and you look at where many of the white officers in particular come from, they hail from communities that have a long legacy of racial strife, places where they chased Black people out of those neighborhoods when they moved there, where they bombed homes or they committed other violence. You also talk about people who are 3-4 generations families of police officers. And you can't tell me that those officers come to the profession from the Northwest side, the Southwest side, and some even from the Southeast side without sentiments that make them corrosive. When you get a gun and a badge and say, go police Inglewood or go police North Lawn or go police West Garfield Park. I mean, it's a ticking time bomb. And the has not done well enough to kind of investigate the people that they're hiring and asking very poignant questions about where they stand on issues of race. Where do they come from? What are they thinking? Those are not the kind of people who should be walking around with the authority to take life and be placed in very dangerous situations where they have to make split-second decisions because they're going to fall back on the essence of what I think that documentary series is talking about, this notion of white superiority and having the freedom to feel like I can take a life of someone who is beneath me, someone who is perhaps at their core and not on the same level of me as a human being. And I think you're very clearly on the right path. What we have not been able to do, as the documentary series points out, we have not had the courage to really take stock of who we are and how damaged we are and how race is such a part of that. And as a result of not having those conversations, we are committing these ills over and over and over again.
So I think, Alden, you raise a great point in regards to really looking at ourselves and understanding who we are and where we are at the time. But I will say this, though. I remember in Tucson in Africa, we were all a part of the 2015 to 2016 Justice or Else initiative. And I remember what came out of that, which was super powerful. And you had the, 10,000 black men?
10,000 fearless.
10,000 fearless that were hitting the streets. And Tucson, Q, all of them, Herb, were all a part of TJ, of being out on the streets physically. There is something about men and their presence in the community, noticeable presence, positive presence there to actually just be. And I know that what ended up happening from like 2015 all the way to 2016, we were putting together all these different initiatives, great economic development initiatives. We were able to crash the stock market on Black Friday and redirect dollars to Black-owned businesses. But we were also able to keep one of the most dangerous parts of the city, which was in Chatham on that corner of 79th and Cottage during Labor Day weekend, from having the most murders that usually happen on that weekend to having 0. Right? I would also love to know if there was a decrease in even police interruption and brutality in that neighborhood. Because I bet when you got Black men standing up in a neighborhood like that, ain't nobody about to be pulling no bull. There's two, because these are not just, these are also stand-up men, right?
Right.
You know, men that with families and are working hard and contributing to the community and to the city.
Right.
So nobody wants to get caught being seen by that type of power. This is what I constantly talk about on our show in regards to us noticing our own power. Because when we stand up in that, I would love to see more of that from the men, and I would love to see more spiritual work from the women, right? So putting that together, unstoppable.
So you're on the green side of things. You've got Sadeek
and Cassiopeia.
And we are talking with Alden Lowry from WBEZ, and we have America's Black sweetheart, activist, darling, woman of the year, Africa.
Come on.
Porter is with us. We're going to go on a small break.
Sweet.
We're going to go on a break, Africa. We're going to let you open it up when we come back from the break. We were talking about community issues, policing. We were talking about the young man in what city? What city did he get?
In Missouri?
Brooklyn Center, Minnesota.
Yeah,
just outside of Minneapolis.
Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, and the young lady that said she thought she had her hand on her taser, and just addressing the fact that any little bit of it is too much at this very moment. The green side of things, Sadeek.
Cassiopeia. I see you, Chrissy.
We'll see you on the other side of the break.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Jackson.
If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like me said. Randy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we about 60 years old. I be done had a heart.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that, yeah?
I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
Right. You're cool. I'm out.
How about National Join a Positive Black Organization Day? Because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth.
Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
you're dying, you know we got to find a way to bring some love in a day. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, 'cause only love can conquer hate. You know we got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket lines, picket signs, don't punish me. Brutality, talk to me so you can see what's
Going on. You turn this back on.
What's going on? Oh, my bad.
What's going on?
We
What's
back.
going on? Yeah, we're back on the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek.
Cassiopeia.
And we are with Alden Lowry and Africa Porter, and we are discussing issues that are top of mind for our community. And we were talking about the young man who was shot and killed by a female police officer, Mr. Dante Wright, as he was in a traffic stop and decided to flee. She said thought she had her hand on her taser. She actually had her hand on the gun. But we had moved to a larger conversation about our responsibility and where we are inside of the conversation, opposed to just being victims.
Yeah.
Which I'm up
Yes.
for every day.
Yeah.
And Cassie brought up a good point, but I'm going to let Africa come in here because I actually have some suggestions based on what Alden said, but I want to hear Africa's thoughts as we come back to break. What's
Shout
that?
out to Oris Williams from New York listening.
Hey, shout out to New
Love
York
it, love
City.
it. Second thing, Herb talk about some y'all sound good, but then he got the eyes. I don't know what that means. Is that a little shade? Is that a little
We're not
bit of
even
shade?
going to give it.
All right,
we
keep
on
it
something
moving.
right.
Let's get back on track.
Africa, what's happening?
No, Sadeek, you can go ahead and roll the conversation. I'm liking this. Go ahead.
Okay.
I know you had some points. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know he did.
I think Cassie brought up something real key, which is the energy that comes from inside us and our placement in the situation. But I want to go back to this whole Manchurian candidate, right? This mindset and extermination of all the brutes, right? And we talked about it's valid to understand that this is part of their mindset. And if you are in what you perceive to be a kill or be killed situation, or you feel harmed, or you're arrogant, or you could tick off the list of reasons that you react. But if you're placed in that situation, you're gonna default to the Manchurian mind, the mind that's seated right in there that guides your actions, especially when you don't have an opportunity to think.
Yeah.
So coupled with black men being out, coupled with black women also being out, but also you talked about the spiritual element of that, right? But coupled with that, I believe that we need to have a severe reduction in non-melanated officers in black neighborhoods.
Yep.
I think that black people need to police black people, because I have a different reaction when a black woman or a black man is in trouble, is getting ready to flee, the whole night, those 2 or 3 seconds that is needed to save a life, I have a different perspective. And I'm not saying that there aren't any black officers who, may not make the same mistake. They may be on the same Manchurian program. We see it all the time. But I think that the numbers of unarmed black deaths in the black community go down seriously if you just put the Caucasian officers in their neighborhood, let them react to their people, and let us react to our people, because they are carrying a Manchurian program. They have that mindset. And so I think it's erroneous, regardless of what the training is, regardless of how many years they've been on the force, when you have a people who have historically reduced another people to animal status, and your life is not worth it, then you're going to act that way in times of great danger, in times when you can't think, in times of high stress. You're going to resort to the program. So the problem, to me, Come on up out the hood. Like literally, Mayor Lightfoot, if you wanted to make a difference in police shootings, murders, and happenings, strictly talking about police in Chicago, take the white officers out of black neighborhoods.
That's it.
Take them out, and then from our side, right? Let's stand up. Let's be accountable. I mean, we got groups. They're meeting up at the gas stations to protect sisters from the carjackings. Carjackings went down.
Yeah.
They were meeting at the corners. They were walking school children to school, right? And then fights and violence went down. They were standing on 79th Street, right? Not policing, bad word, but monitoring the corridor, right? And violence and violent interactions between young black men went down. So I think that there's an extreme power in what we do, but when programming is subconscious, and it's thousands of years old, right? That's why I said we got to know who we're dealing with.
It ain't gonna just.
It's not going to no amount of policy, no amount of training, right? Just get them up out of the neighborhoods. We are perfectly capable of policing, interacting, and guiding our own communities on a daily, weekly, and yearly basis.
Yeah. And then we also still got to do some work with the brothers and sisters that have been still trained in police culture.
Absolutely.
So that we can dial down that whatever 4 years they were in the academy or the BS that they were conditioned with to make sure that they don't continue that on as they are within their own communities.
Right, because that's part of the program.
Yeah.
And that they even they give us the virus.
Right.
And so we become violent, and we enact
now
this
you
on
all
each
make
other.
me think of Carrots One, right? I'm sorry. Now you all make me think about Carrots One. Black cop, black cop, right? So I agree with that. We have to make sure that, the desensitizing is within us, that we're not, out there hurting our own people more than what they.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Brother Lowry, any thoughts as we wrap that up? I really want to move to this generational wealth piece. We're going to have to come back, but I just even want to preview it a little bit because I was talking again. Cassie and I, we have conversations on the way here, and it's just a shame how we have all of these things now on top of the police brutality, on top of the colonial rule on land. And we get that ripped from under us, right?
Yeah.
So,
hold on 1 second. I got to put them back in. We had a little bit of a tech glitch that just happens.
No problem. Tech glitches happen.
Yes, they do. It's all good. Let's get everybody.
Yeah, somebody said it's freezing
here.
up a little bit. No problem. We are still here. We want to make sure that we are having these conversations.
There we go. All
in
right.
a coherent manner. We all back, Cassie?
Yes, sir.
See, I love that. See, I got better. And you know, when we first started, I'd be like, "Oh, fix it, stop, go to break. We can't do this."
All right.
Code 9, the enemy's here. Yeah,
So
but
calm now. I love it.
I didn't do any of that. So we are back on and everything. So okay, everybody, I'm gonna introduce this article and this thought, and then we can talk about this. But on top of the violence, on top of that, I was talking with Brother Lowry, and they have done some research on this, but I wanted to start out talking about this black family. I believe it is the Bruce family in Los Angeles, California. And
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
There is a caption that I see coming up, and it says, so copyright, so copyright, so copyright. I don't know if that's the caption that's going to be on our show. I just want to make, we ain't need no problems with Facebook.
No, we don't need any problems with Facebook.
You see all of that?
Yeah, so copyright.
So I think that's the caption piece. Right?
Hang in there, everybody.
I ain't got I don't want no problems with no Facebook trying to say that we own something with cops, because we're not.
Yeah, this is a disclaimer, you all. Whatever you're seeing on the screen, I don't know where it's coming from, but
that's not on everybody else. That's not on the caption. That
well, let me see. I can look at. Let me look at Facebook
here
right now, and see if it's on our screen.
That's what I'm talking about, which will be a part of the recording.
No, it's not showing up, Cassie.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's just blocking our screen. Okay, y'all.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Okay. not that we went anywhere, but we were just checking the tech.
Gotta make sure, y'all.
Checking the tech because we don't
you
want
know how
Facebook messing with
can
us.
Be.
But
little
anyway,
algorithm bots be like.
So there's this area in Los Angeles. It's called Bruce's Beach, right? And they, the Bruce family, bought acres of land right off the ocean in today what is prime Los Angeles, but they brought it at the turn of the century, right, in the early 1900s. And in 1924, the city and the state took the land away from them. And the story caught my eye because the actual descendants, right, they had the young man on. He was speaking for his family, but the quote that caught me was their family would be worth millions of dollars. This young man himself,
and it's a black family, right?
A black family would be millionaires had the government not taken their land.
Wow.
So, you know, it really caught my attention because we talk all the time about legacy and setting yourself up. And it's like they went through all of the proper, and the only way that this story is coming to light is because the deeds were there. Clearly these people's property, they're trying to work through the government to return the land to the Bruce family because now there's like, you know, a lifeguard camp and like the city has, you know, took the property decades ago.
Yeah.
But these children would be set up, right? And the work of their grandparents and their ancestors, right? And so we were talking about this. I was talking with Brother Lowry, and he was like, man, we are uncovering just how nefarious and how widespread these contracts and clauses and early real estate dealings from the 20s and 30s, where literally if you were white and selling your home, the sellers, right, could put in the real estate contract, you cannot sell to black people. And it would be in the closing, in the mortgage document. So Brother Lowry, go ahead and kick that off. I just wanted to bring that up, but you've done your organization has done some fascinating research.
Yes, we're right now we're in the middle of kind of a fact-finding mission right now, but it's ultimately for a story that we're doing in conjunction with NPR, one of their investigative reporters, and we're essentially trying to document as many instances as we can of what's called racial restrictive covenants or racial restrictive deeds in the city of Chicago. There's been a number of things that have been done over the years. One group has documented as many as 220 instances of these covenants in subdivisions and parts of the Chicago region, some in the city, some in the suburbs. And essentially it would be language in the document that says that, you know, you can't sell to Negroes, you can't rent to Negroes, Negroes cannot occupy this space unless they are serving in a domestic capacity. That's essentially the gist of these kinds of covenants. Some explicitly say you can only sell to members of the Caucasian race, things of that nature. So this was a real thing that was taking place in Chicago in the 20s and 30s and 40s. The Supreme Court outlawed such language in 1948. I believe there was a case there. And if you know the story of Raisin in the Sun, Lorraine Hansberry, the book that later became a movie, it is essentially about the real life instances of her family being blocked by a racially restrictive covenant. And fighting against that in order to buy a piece of land that they wanted. That was a case that was filed, and I think it did make its way to the Supreme Court, but that wasn't the actual, the seminal case that was adjudicated by the court that struck down these things, but it was a part of that movement. Interestingly, though, our effort is to try to find actual examples of these things. There's power in actually looking at these things, even though they're technically not enforceable any longer, but really just let's come into grips with our history. And that history has a big part of why Chicago looks the way it looks, because when those covenants came down, you know, black folks were essentially able then to pursue property throughout the city. And that's when we saw the white flight of the 50s and 60s and 70s. Because white folks didn't want to be around when knowing that black folks were moving into their neighborhoods. And interestingly, it's also another connection to the story you just mentioned, Sadeek, because there have been some instances in Chicago where there have been similar things like that, but on a very widespread scale here in Chicago, when those covenants came down and Black folks were starting to buy properties, we had this system happening in Chicago called contract buying. And so the federal government wasn't backing loans to Black people or neighborhoods that were becoming Black or that had been Black. Black folks were really at the mercy of local lenders and real estate brokers in terms of what the terms were of their mortgages or their agreements to buy property. So you had these real estate brokers who would essentially scare white folks by saying, hey, Black folks are moving into your neighborhood. Block busting is what they called it. They would sometimes pay a Black woman to walk down the street with a carriage, a baby carriage, essentially signaling to the white residents that Black folks are living in your neighborhood. The white folks would be in such a rush to get out quickly, feeling like, my property is going to lose value by the minute if Black folks are moving in. So let me sell whatever price point I can get. So these real estate brokers would buy the properties low from who were fleeing and then mark up the price to the Black folk selling to. On top of that, they were then putting terms on these contracts. So Black folks weren't actually getting, think of buying a home like on a rent to own kind of.
Yeah.
And so that's what they were doing. And then if you missed a payment with many of these contracts, you actually lose your stake to the home whatsoever. So it's almost as if you had never paid anything and your stuff would be put out on the street.
Wow.
You even if you stayed with the payments, you were building no equity until you paid the full amount of the. So it was just an ungodly and unscrupulous system of home purchase, and that was the primary way Black folks were buying property in the 1950s and 1960s. And the research that was done was actually by researchers from Duke University and the University of Illinois at Chicago, and we reported on that research. But they, from their research, they estimated that 75 to 95% of the properties that Black people bought in Chicago in the 50s and 60s were on contract. And the West Side was a hotbed for these kinds of agreements, but they were also happening in neighborhoods like Inglewood on the South Side. And they say Black people lost $3 to $4 billion in wealth. Now let that sink in for a minute. $3 to $4 billion. And this
is that just in Chicago?
It's just in Chicago, and just the contract purchases that were made in the 1950s and 1960s. So we're talking about a small amount of time, only among Black folks and only in the city of Chicago, $3 to $4 billion of wealth that was lost. If these folks were able to buy through conventional loans at rates that were indicative of the time and build equity in the way that they normally would have, they would be $3 to $4 billion richer now collectively. So there are a lot of millionaires Black millionaires that should be here in Chicago, as a result of those purchases that just didn't happen because their wealth was robbed as a means of these contracts. So there are so many ways in which, when we talk about this question around reparations, right? There's so many ways in which Black folks have been robbed of things. They've been things have been stolen from them that have nothing to do with slavery. And so to me, when this research came out, to me, it was just a classic example of why there needs to be a very strong argument made about making people whole again, because folks have been robbed. And interestingly, also, Ta-Nehisi Coates in his book, his landmark, his landmark Case for Reparations story, is centered around one of the black man who bought a home on contract back in the 1960s, and then became part of the Contract Buyers League, which was a group of West Side Black homeowners who were in these contracts and fought, and in many cases successfully, to keep those Black folks in their homes when the real estate brokers who had tendered these contracts were trying to force them out. So,
wow. That's just, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna let that marinate. Africa, anything on that?
I'm just listening. So much good information there. I remember the story, Lorraine Hansberry, A Raisin in the Sun. And as much as it was, produced to teach us in the play format, I remember P. Diddy made it into a film. It was so much value in that for us to learn and look at that from so many different perspectives, from real estate, from racism, white supremacy, redlining. And that brings me to my film, of course, Chicago at the Crossroad, which also deals with that segregation, racism from a housing perspective, you know what I'm saying, and solutions. So it brings us back to how we got here, what's happening, and how do we get out of it. You know what I mean? We can't just stay there.
Yeah.
So I love that, Brother Alvin, how you connected all that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's some amazing information. And I'll say as we wrap up, because this is not the last time we obviously, on the green side of things, we really want to help bring things to light for the community. And we have such a bright and reflective and awesome audience out there in Wiftable land, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube Live. We appreciate you. But I'll say this and then we'll wrap up. The information you gave, Brother Lowry, reminded me of, because I'm going back to this whole Manchurian program. And I was little, you would hear black people, not even white people, because the program talk about how black neighborhoods looked, right? But if you brought your house on a contract, are in danger every month of getting evicted. And then before you can even rectify the contract, got to pour all the money back into it just to save your home. The money to buy new gutters and take care of the home, right? Because we're really harsh on each other, right? Look at how Negroes take care of this neighborhood and do that. But you have no idea what it even took to get in that home, and then the racist policies that were behind the home ownership, drawing resources necessary to keep a neighborhood out of the neighborhood and then send it and put it in somebody else's pocket.
Yeah.
So I want to expand that conversation. I'm glad you brought it up, Brother Lowry. And I'm so glad that you took time out of your day to be on the show with us.
Yes.
Sister Africa, I know you were in the middle of some things. We always much love and appreciation for you taking time out. And if you haven't seen Sister Africa's documentary, you got to watch At the Crossroads.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for always lighting my fire, too.
Yeah, and Brother Lowry, thank you again so much. We appreciate you. Everybody out there in Wiftable land, we really appreciate you. We want you to stay tuned. We're on a new cycle, and so from 3 to 6 p.m. today, we have the rebroadcast of the Maze Jackson Show, which aired from 6 to 9 today. So if you didn't catch it this morning, it was on fire this morning. Check out the smoke that's coming right after us. And so you've been on the green side of things with Sadeek
and Cassiopeia.
And we've got our man Ron Rilla that is in the production booth. And for everybody here, the green side of things, as we always say, we'll see you Thursday. Peace.